Okay, so a lot of people talk about all of the additional maintenance and expenses that you will accrue as a homeowner, but not enough people are talking about the positives and the pros of homeownership. So I'm gonna talk about the 5 things that you will absolutely love and you'll be surprised about as it relates to moving from a renter to a homeowner. So if you're new here, before I jump in, hi, my name is Jocelyn and I am the founder of Real Estate Prep, which is a community for first-time home buyers that are looking for the tools, tactics, and resources they need to confidently make the biggest purchase of their lives, and that is usually their home. So what I like to do is I like to speak from experience. I like to humanize the home buying experience because I remember how overwhelming and daunting it was for me, and it wasn't until I moved over to the other side that I realized that there's some benefits to this. Beyond just taxes, there are some benefits that you'll gain immediately upon moving in. So again, I'm gonna talk about the 5 things that you will love or that will surprise you about moving from renting to owning your home. So the first one is that you are not required to pay your real estate agent. So usually there is an agent fee associated with transactions, and the good news for you as a buyer is that the seller actually pays that. So when it comes to working with your agent, going out to look at houses, you know, drafting up your contract like that, those are all things that they'll be doing essentially for free for you until you're ready to sell the home. And then it'll be 6% that you'll be paying to the seller's agent as well as the buyer's agent. But in this case, the agent is working for you. So I'm not saying to waste their time because I definitely didn't waste mine, but to make sure that you are utilizing them to the biggest advantage. So all the questions that you have, any frustrations that you feel, like this is essentially an additional member of your family for the interim. So, you know, treat them with care, treat them with grace, but know that they're gonna be looking out for you. And if you feel like that they're not, then definitely, you know, seek to find another one. And if you want advice on how to vet agents and determine the right one for you, I do have a checklist of questions that will help you understand like how to vet them. So what kind of experience do they have they found homes and sold homes in the areas of interest that you have, have they worked with first-time home buyers? Like, these are basic questions that were really helpful for me with finding my agent. So I will link that in the description box, but definitely keep in mind that the agent is working for you, so that's one less fee you have to pay. Number 2 is that when you move in, there's usually a month that you get to skip with your mortgage. So say you close in, August, your first payment wouldn't be due in September, it would be due in October, because lenders know and everyone else involved with the transaction knows that, you've had to bring a lot of money to the closing table, which includes, your down payment and all the other associated fees with closing. So that's sort of like a little grace period that they give you to kind of move in, get settled, and not stress about paying your first mortgage payment, which is helpful. Like, that's something that I don't think people talk enough about. And it's kind of like good, because all that other money as it relates to moving, and selling things, like, you can pocket that, and you can also use it to buy furniture and just get ready for this new thing that you've embarked on, which is home ownership. So you are not required to make your first payment immediately after moving in. You usually get a month. Again, if you move in August, you get to skip September, and then your first payment will be due on August 1st, which leads me to point 3, which is that your mortgage technically is not late until the 15th of every month. So I'm not saying do not pay your mortgage on time, because you absolutely should pay it on time. And for me, I'm so programmed with paying rent on the 1st or the 2nd or the 3rd that, I still pay on the 1st. Because I get paid on the 1st, so I'm going to pay it on the 1st. And I might even pay it early. Sometimes I pay it early if I have the additional money, or if I know that I want to make extra payments to lower my principal or get to the principal quickly, because in the very beginning, all you're paying are interest payments anyway, just like a student loan, same type of process. So it's not late until the 15th, but again, I would not wait until the 15th. I will make your payment at a decent time, like if you get paid on the 1st, go ahead and just pay that thing. Otherwise, you are going to be saying like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then lo and behold, it's the 15th, and those late fees will accrue, and you are not going to be happy with yourself. So again, it's not due until the 15th. That's when you'll start accruing late fees. But again, like, I would make the payment, you know, as soon as you possibly and financially can. Number 4 is that when it comes to buying your first home, you can put down as little as 3%. So that depends on what type of loan you decide to embark on. And I feel like I have a video on this. I will post it somewhere on here on this screen. But, you know, if you decide to go conventional, which means that, you know, you decide to get a loan with private lenders, which could be, you know, credit unions and anything that's essentially not backed by the government, you can, as a first-time home buyer, put down as little as 3%, and that is going to be the only time you can put down as little as 3% as it relates to conventional as a first-time home buyer, because they understand, you know, you're not an investor. Investors usually have to put down closer to 20%, 25%, depending on where you are in your journey. So take advantage of that. The biggest lesson that I've learned, you know, and advice that my agent and my lender gave me was to put down as little as 3%. I was considering putting down 5% because I wanted to have a lower down payment, but you'll realize that 5% and 3% are truly just a couple of dollars of a difference, and you can use that money for other things. So it's better to have the cash for anything that happens versus trying to put a big bulk payment towards your down payment. For me, I decided to go with a 3% since I went conventional. If you decide to do FHA, you can put down as little as 3.5%. And if you decide to do a VA loan, you don't even have to put anything down as a down payment. So definitely know that this is dependent on your financial profile, which is your credit, debt, and savings. I have a whole video on that. I will post it on the screen. Please check that out because that directly impacts everything that you're approved for, such as your interest rate, you know, such as the loan type that you can move forward with, and all of the other extra amenities that I got, which were seller credits. They were able to knock off the purchase price because I was one of the very first people in the neighborhood, and some other benefits, you know, like it helps to have your finances together. It helps to have a low debt to income ratio, and it just helps to get you pre-approved for the amount that you deserve. You know, if you have a high amount of debt and a high income, like the two don't necessarily cancel each other out. It's still going to impact you. So you need to determine how much it's going to impact you, because I would hate for you to get a very low pre-approval amount like I did my first go around. Even though I was making a lot of money, I had a lot of student loan debt. So, you know, I have a video on that too. I'll post that somewhere. But that's just really important for you to know. Number 5 is that homeownership brings stability as it relates to your monthly payment. So your monthly payment, as far as the principal and the interest, will not change. What will change is your taxes, depending on if they go up or they go down. I don't know anyone's taxes that have went down in this economy. Everyone's is always going up, and that sucks. But you can also utilize tax-related benefits as a homeowner, such as deducting that interest rate, such as the homestead exemption. Like, I have a whole other video that I'm going to do on the tax benefits of homeownership. But for now, know that your payment is fixed until property taxes are reassessed, which are done on an annual basis. So you shouldn't see any drastic changes within your first year. If you do, you definitely need to talk to your lender and talk to the county or whoever you pay your taxes to. But you can at least know for the first year it's not going to change. And again, a benefit of being a homeowner versus a renter is that you can write off, depending on where you live, at least for where I live in Texas, I can write off a percentage of my interest. There's also homestead, why do I always forget the word? Homestead exemptions and some other, you know, mortgage related interest that I can write off, even a portion of my taxes, which is very helpful. So there are benefits to homeownership that you can take advantage of immediately, and then there's some that will come a little later down in the pipeline and the process of you being a homeowner. But just to recap, the 5 things that will surprise you, that will pleasantly surprise you about homeownership are: number 1, you are not required to pay your real estate agent as a buyer. This is something the seller is responsible for. So they're paying the 3% to the agent, 3% to the buyer agent and 3% to the seller's agent. Keep that money in your pocket. Anyone tries to charge you for that, you know they're trying to play you, and I don't want you to get played. Number 2 is that your mortgage isn't late until the 15th of the month. And again, that's not to say you should wait until the 15th to pay. You want to make sure that you pay as soon as you can, ideally, because I don't want you to forget it and rack up on late fees. Like, that's not a good thing. And people are quick to take your house these days. Number 3 is that your first payment, once you close on your home, is not due for the first month. So you can technically skip a month. So again, if you close in August, the payment is not due in September. Your first official payment is due in October, just as an example. Gives you time to spend money on other things as it relates to moving, buying, and selling. Number 4 is that you can put down as little as 3%, depending on the type of loan type that you decide on. So for conventional, as a first-time home buyer, pending your finances, I'm hoping that they are A-okay. If not, again, go back to my video about how I improved my finances to buy my home. For FHA, it's 3.5%, again, pending finances. And then for the VA loan, if you are a veteran, please take advantage of the VA loan. Like, you get closing cost assistance and you don't have a down payment. Like, it's just a win-win. I know there's a finding fee, but that ain't much compared to what we're paying on the other side as non-veterans. And then number 5 is the stability, the financial stability that you gain as a homeowner. So again, your payments are fixed. Your interest rate is fixed for a good 30 years until you decide to refinance. So you won't see any fluctuations the way that you do as a renter. I remember being frustrated with the rent increasing every year. Like, it's going to increase. Your mortgage is going to increase because of property taxes, which are assessed annually, but hopefully it won't be super drastic. And again, you will be able to write those things off, when it's time to do your taxes every year. You'll get, depending on where you live, you can write off a portion of the interest that you paid. You have homesteaded, why do I always mess up this word? Homestead exemptions, and then you can also write off a portion of your property taxes, depending on where you live. That's just my story. Do your Googles to see what is common in your area as it relates to tax deductions for homeowners. So that is it. Please comment below and let me know if you have any questions about these areas, or let me know about an area that I've covered that you're surprised about that you didn't know. And let's keep the conversation going. So my next video that I'll post is about the 4 things that you will not like about homeownership. Some of them you probably already know, but some of them I think you'll be surprised about. But again, like, it'll cancel itself out. You already see that I have 5 wins versus the 4 losses that I'll cover on the next video. So thank you for watching. Again, comment below about an area that, was a shocker or a pleasant surprise to you. And of course, let me know if you have any questions or recommendations on videos that you want to see in the future. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.